All right, if you're still with us or you just joined us, you're still on to Enterprise Weekend, reaching you from the economic capital of Nigeria, Enterprise Television it is. Let's look into our main conversation for today. Of course, it's a known fact that a man can't be too far from where his money is. But in Nigeria, the banks appear to be rewriting this fact.
Very true. In September, Sterling Bank's system upgrade sparked a wave of core banking application upgrades across Nigerian banks, reflecting an industry-wide effort to keep pace with technological advancements.
Core banking applications handle daily transactions and maintain account records, while some banks upgraded within the same software provider, others transitioned to entirely new platforms.
Sterling Bank switched from Temon's T24 to CBAS, a local solution, while GTB moved to Finacle. The upgrades led to service disruptions, frustrating customers. The Sterling Bank's app was inaccessible for 2 weeks, and Zenith Bank faced a 3-day outage following October 1 upgrade. Similar issues affected First Bank, GTB, and Access Bank.
The banks are reportedly upgrading to improve service quality, reduce cost, and enhance financial inclusion, while historically relying on expensive foreign systems. Some Nigerian banks are now adopting local solutions to cut costs.
Despite challenges, the upgrades are not Central Bank of Nigeria directives, but part of routine maintenance aimed at delivering seamless services.
And customers' funds, the promise, remains safe during these transitions, as the banking industry is heavily regulated by bodies such as the CBN, SEC, and NDIC, ensuring multiple layers of security.
Now, the question now is, for how long shall we have our monies tied up, and what policy part can we talk to handle things better? Very
well said. And let's get into our conversation. We have virtually joining us Lester Wilkes, is a public affairs and analyst and a financial expert, and Dr. Ambrose Ibokwe. Thank you, gentlemen, for being part of our show today. We truly do appreciate your time.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Beautiful.
Good morning. Thanks. It's good to be here.
Thank you so very much.
Thank you so much. I'm starting with you, Lester Wilkes. As we get into the crux of the matter, let's dissect our Nigerian banks. The way and the process which they are taking to actually upgrade their system. Is it the right way to go? Looking at how a lot of Nigerians are stranded and can't have access to money without the banks having anything to do about it.
Well, just as well, with a bit of correction, I'm a chartered accountant. So when you say financial expert, I don't know what that is.
Oh, okay.
But I'm a chartered accountant. I'm a fellow of ICANN, chartered accountant. Yes, I need a lot of finance and all that. But please, next time, just say it's a chartered accountant.
All right, beautiful.
Okay, so back to the question. Well, the only constant in life is change. And at every point in time, you must apply some new technology and new changes in order to keep afloat. This is not the first time we're having this kind of disruptions. The only good thing about now is most times we are pre-warned. I know that GT pre-warned customers, which Zenith did not do, pre-warned customers that they said 4 days. But again, technology is something that nobody can master the whole act in one fell swoop. It's a continuous. I remember when banks were transiting from analog to digital. I mean, you know that before now, if you have your account in Magodo and you are working in VI, you cannot get money except to go to Magodo, to the bank where you had your money, where you have your account in the south. So when that upgrade came up, we had this kind of disruption because, I mean, it's something that... so right now, I think the main interest of the bank is the fact that they need to keep ahead, or they need to keep up ahead of the scammers. And a lot of banks are suffering losses, which we don't know. All these scams that people, money are stolen from their accounts, most of them, the bank has to pay. Most of them are not. So the bank are doing everything they can to upgrade their system and to fortify their firewall so that your money and my money will be safe. The process adopted, you cannot have it all best in terms of IT when you're transitioning from IT. You cannot have it all sorted out in one fell swoop. They must have taken due diligence, done their training, but again, like I said, technology is something that you cannot just have with a stroke of the pen. I'm not holding big for them. I'm affected. In fact, last week, throughout upper week, I couldn't get anything in my Zenith account. Now, this last week, I couldn't get anything in my GT account. So it's part of some of the cheating problem. But the ultimate, I think the reason for the bank is that your money should be safe and you get a better service.
All right, beautiful. I'd love to start with you, Dr. Ambrose Igbokwe. As much as we value the evolution in technology and its acceptance, particularly in Nigeria, but some Nigerians have argued that when it comes to technology adoption in this part of the world, Nigerian system makes it a lot difficult for customers and recipients, and that's what we see. You see the same thing in NIN, you see the same thing in passports, and so on and so forth. So do you think that the challenges Nigerian customers are facing, it's more, the gravity is more because of the way we approach services in this part of the world?
There's nothing wrong with the technology we are deploying. Firstly, even in some of the banks, like Zenith Bank, that touts itself as people who are very good with the technology, they pride themselves as a technology bank. It was surprising for customers like us to know that that they don't even have the current technology for banking. Some of them, their technology they were using are outdated. Most of them, including Zenith Bank, GT Bank, and all these banks. I was first of all shocked that our major banks were operating on outdated softwares. You know, they had to update them just recently. That is one of the shockers. Then the second shocker, you know, sometimes when you even ordinarily without upgrading, when you go to, just to buttress your point about bad customer service, you go to bank and then you want to bring out your money or do a transaction, and they tell you that there's no network. As if, you know, the way they say it more talently, as if they are the ones helping you, or they are, you know, they are giving you money, or they are giving you aid, or they are giving you donation. Your own money, you want to access it, and the person just looks at you. Sometimes they don't even say anything to you. After spending like 40 minutes, 30 minutes, nothing is happening, and you go to them, they tell there's no network. And the person says nonchalantly as if, oh, you are disturbing me. Why does this happen? And as I said, these technologies that are deployed by our banks are also deployed everywhere else in the world.
Yeah.
The only difference is this: there are no consequences for impunity in Nigeria. And because there are no consequences for impunity in Nigeria, everybody, every sector engages in impunity, including the religious organizations. We engage in impunity because there are no consequences, there are no punishments for wrongdoing. Rather, there are rewards for wrongdoing. For example, you can't try this in Europe. You can't try this in the United States or Canada or some of these advanced countries. Even some of the countries like South Africa or some Ghana or some other countries in Africa, you can't try this and get away with it. Where you hold down customers for 2 weeks, 3 weeks going, they are added money. Now, if you try it in those places I've mentioned, you'll be sued. You will pay damages, you will pay compensations. By the time you finish paying, you may go bankrupt. And you will be described as insolvent. In fact, you declare insolvency, you will go bankrupt. And that's why they don't try it there. It's not because they are more humane, it's not because they are kinder, no. It's because the law forces them to be nice. The law forces them to stand up, the law forces them to do the right thing. But here, we reward impunity, and that is justice. So, Zenith Bank, GT Bank, Access Bank, all those banks that need to be correct or good, what is the punishment? Nothing. You can't sue them. When you sue them, rather than the government siding with the customer, the government will rather side with the banks. The regulator will side with the bank against the customer. So that is what we see like that. So because they can do it and get away with it, they did it. And you know what? They will get away with it, and they're already getting away with it. And that is because there is no Consumer Protection Council or whatever you have, all these agencies of government are just on paper. They are useless in the actual sense of it. They can't even do anything. So who is protecting us? Even at the end of the day, anything happens to your bank or bank account or the bank which is insolvent, NDIC will give you 100,000 or whatever amount of money they want to give you. So because these guys, all the banks that have gone under because of all kinds of impunity in there, what has happened to them? Nothing. There was a particular bank that an insider, a director, when they said up to 17 billion, some 37 billion, loans without this thing. What happened today? The bank went under. The bank went under. Yet, I don't know what has happened to those directors. So we keep seeing all these things and nothing happened. And as far as there are no punishment for wrongdoing in Nigeria, we keep seeing this kind of things and it will not abate. It happens in every sector. An airline will give you 4 o'clock, 6 o'clock or 7 a.m. flight. They will sit down at the airport. There will some of that, they will reschedule the flight. They won't even tell you. They won't even have the courtesy to tell you. You go and inquire. They will tell you, oh, at the desk. They will say it has been shifted. Sometimes you stay there. I had a friend 3 weeks ago. He stayed at the airport, Abuja airport, from 8 o'clock in the morning, 7 o'clock flight. After like 6 p.m., they canceled his flight and he has to go back home.
Wow.
So that nothing. You know, the kind of impunity we do things in this country is what emboldens these guys to misbehave. And that is why we see what we see today.
Thank you. Thank
you
you
so
very
much, Ambrose. Alesta, can we say in Nigeria we've got policies that are in terms of software? Do we have policies regarding software and how banks could operate with these policies?
Well, I'm not a software expert, but I know that with current realities on ground, with respect to service delivery, anybody that is not embracing technology will be left in the dark. What my brother just said has a lot of truism in it, has a lot of talking points and a lot of takeaways, because he has really spelled out some of the evils of society. And most often than not, and that is where, whenever I speak on public forums like this, most often than not, we Nigerians will have one segmented mind or one fixated mind. Every problem starts and ends with the president of the country. And meanwhile, we excuses all the agencies, we excuses all these evil servants, and I'm using my word very well, evil servants. Sorry if I'm using that word advisedly, that are supposed to implement these policies that are in the country. What my brother said is not far from the truth. There is no punishment for impunity. People now we're talking about, this is a private sector economy. This is a private sector that has nothing to do with government, and a bank should be able to know how to attract and retain its customer, and therefore the service they offer to you, this is not government, man, this is pure private sector. But because they know that you and I, we are gullible, whatever they throw to us, we swallow. Look, let me shock you, and I'm sure you are guilty of it. You walk into a bank, you have 1 million in that account, and you want to withdraw 100,000. The bank says no, we can only give you 20,000, and you walk away, and you take 20,000 and you walk away. And I don't know how Nigerians have brought themselves to that level. You walk into a bank, you have 1 million in my account, I give my own to withdraw from me, and I come to the cash counter, and the cashier tells me, and you can only pay 20,000 naira. And you abuse the country, you abuse the president, you abuse the politicians, you abuse the country, and you take 20,000 from the cashier and run and go and start abusing the country. You didn't ask the cashier on what authority is he paying 20,000 naira. You didn't ask the cashier if you do not have enough money or enough fund to justify you are collecting your 100,000 or 1 billion that you want to collect. You take it, you go away, you start abusing the country. So we are culpable because we swallow everything they give us, both in the private, both in the public sector. So we swallow it. And if you tell somebody, why didn't you complain? What will I do? What will I do now? What will happen? They will just drive out of the bank. I have gone to a bank, save all banks. Anytime I want money, I go to the bank and I tell you what I want. You tell me that trash, I will tell you, young woman or young man, I need 100,000 naira and I need it now. Of course they will give me. Not because I'm a Lester, not because any of them know me, but because I know what I'm asking for. It's my right. There is no law that says I will collect 20,000 naira. There's no law that says I cannot be done more than 20,000 naira in there. Now, what the bank have done, let me just say this, and please, I want this to go better. Right. What the banks have done is they have licensed too many POS operators. Today, naira is a trading currency in Nigeria, and they're all smiling. I'm sure you patronize POS. Yeah, I'm sure both of you and you patronize POS very well. Because why will you do that? Now, naira has become a currency of trade in our country. What can happen in the world? And we've accepted it. And that is why the bank have licensed all the POS, so they no longer have liquidity, physical cash in the bank. Because the man selling okra, the man selling pepper, the man selling bookshelves, the man selling police station is now a POS operator. So you go there and you buy your own money, and you are laughing, and we are all smiling. And nobody challenges the bank. Now, because the bank will tell you we don't have cash. Where is the cash? It's in the private, it's in POS operators. Go to a POS operator, you can collect 500,000, and you pay 100, and you pay either 20,000 or so on that money. When it is your own money. And you see, in this country, we are so laid back that we accept everything, we accept everything, and we don't complain. And because we are too in a hurry to complain, we are too busy to make a demand. We are too sophisticated, we are too scared, we are too afraid, we are too laid back, and people cheat us and rub paper on our faces. Our own fellow people, I'm not talking of government now, our own fellow citizens, and we just smile. So we must have a robust system whereby now the regulators, if you don't complain, how will central bank know that you go to a bank and the bank says they will not pay you money? You didn't complain. How will you go to a bank and the bank keeps you for 2 hours and tell you there's no network, and you walk out of the bank without making a complaint and nobody apologizes? It's not. See, if you don't demand your rights, because we're in a country where everybody rub pepper on everybody's eye. Even the common man on the street, and not of government now, everybody take advantage. So what do you think the government will have done? Is it not the same part of Nigerians? The Consumer Protection Council, what did they do when multi-choice increase their tariff? What did the Consumer Protection Council do? They just blow hot air, and within the next days, we didn't hear it again. Didn't DSTV rate stand? Because there is no pressure. We accept it and we all laugh and we all abuse the country as if the country is a structure. We all abuse the president as if the president will be the one that will go to every office to know what is happening there. We accept rubbish, and that's why we are getting rubbish. Until we all rise up and say no to starting rubbish that is perpetrated by our own individual. I want you to start it. Go to the bank and ask for your money and let them give you 20,000 and complain there and see if they will not give you the money you want. Today we all patronize POS because we have been forced to do that, and we are doing it. And we are buying money in our own country, and we are blaming the president. Sometimes our problem is me, not the politician, not the government, not the president.
All right. Okay. Yes, very well said. I truly do appreciate your submission on taking our rights and knowing what to do with it. I think Nigerians have done more than enough of that, and bad governance and so on and so forth, even against the government and equally against the private sector. But of course, everything still boils down on the policy made possible by those in authority. But I'd love to get to you, Dr. Ambrose. COVID-19 actually changed the game in the financial ecosystem. At that point, when big banks, blue chip banks, were finding it very difficult, ensuring that services were made possible, fintechs at that point, it was very easy. The likes of OPay, MoneyPoint, and all those fintech companies, the smooth transition of technology for them was far more easier. Now my question is, why do you think little fintech companies find it extremely easy ensuring that service provision is guaranteed, while blue chip companies with all the bags of money find it very difficult ensuring that such services are equally done to customers?
when we started online banking in Nigeria, we started all kinds of fintech services, we were all thinking that we would do less with cash. We would do less with cash transactions and all those things. But I think the proliferation of fintech services have even led to more cash. Really? Like Alex said, Alex said, you don't start giving money to POS operators and then you throw more cash into the system and all those things. There was a documentary I watched sometime last year. BBC did a documentary with some Chinese youngsters, university students. They were going online and asking. They were going inside the campus and asking students whether they had cash in China. And most of the students, nobody had a single cash. So they were not asking, how do you make your payment? And they found out that their own chats, just like our own WhatsApp or whatever we use for chatting, their own has barcode, has this code, scan code that they use for payment, QR code. So they just go where they do their chatting and all those things is where they just scan. So the woman who is selling vegetable in the market and on the street, the person who is selling sweets, the person who is selling the water outlet too, they don't have a piece of paper that they hang there. Okay? That you can just do the QR code, and the person gets paid. So most of them, every market person has that piece of paper, attached to our own account. So you don't find out that you have to deal with less cash management. Do you know how much Nigeria spends on cash management? How much CBN spends on it? How much the security and maintenance companies spend on doing cash? There was a time we learned that we were spending 20 naira to produce 5 naira notes. That is how absurd it could be. Therefore, CBN should encourage fintech to ensure that we democratize the space more about doing cashless transactions. And instead of finding ways, what we are doing now is forcing some of the fintech companies like OP and the rest and MoneyPoint and the rest to become microfinance banks. We have forced them to become microfinance banks. Instead of to bring out a new set of regulations for them that can furthermore democratize the space, we are trying to bring them back into the conventional banking system and making them microfinance banks. We are not moving forward. People that are moving forward, we are retarding their progress and trying to fix them into a place they don't belong. So why not make QR code and all those things? Well, instead of you give, like a CBN, you give these fintech companies, give them deadlines, give them timelines to enhance cashless and this thing. But no, because of some peculiar reasons, because of some whatever they do behind closed doors, we don't know. They make sure that the cash is keep on moving. They haven't changing the currency, holding cash. Go to parties. You see people selling cash, our economy cash in parties. Crisp notes. When we are growing up, when you wanted a crisp notes, when you wanted a clean notes, you go to the bank. You go to the bank to get crisp naira notes. But now, you don't get crisp naira notes inside the bank. You get them in parties, in party events, where they are doing birthdays, weddings, traditional, anything. They are hawk it. Because they sell it, Christmas is coming. Just put your ear down, you see how much they are selling it. They will tell you, you want 100,000, bring 120,000 naira to be able, or 130,000 to get a naira note. So you give the 130,000 naira ugly note, we just give you 100,000 naira clean note. Where do they get the clean notes from? The people in the streets hawking those things. It's from the bank. Nobody, as I said, impunity is rewarded. They're smart to the bank, they make money. So if impunity is rewarded, human nature makes it know that once you reward impunity, the human nature embodies and it takes more dangerous steps. But when you punish impunity, the human nature is always cautious to commit such crime.
All right. Thank you so very much. Alexa, just before we coast home, the place of politicking, politics, and its interference in our financial ecosystem. Cashless economy, just like Dr. Ibokwe did, it's not new, all right? But just prior to the election of February 25th, 2023, the reversal from cashless economy to physical cash was a policy of this particular administration, which is the reason why we have so much liquidity in our system today. So as the banks try to do what they should do, how do we reduce or subtract politics from our financial space?
Well, there should not be, politics and financial space should be, I think it should be governance and financial regulation. Unfortunately, ours is more of a cash-driven economy, and we have refused. Let me just say this. I like what Dr. Boku was saying, but again, look at the common man on the street. Today, the common man on the street is hawking naira to the common man, to his fellow common man. Now, go to a motor park. Just anywhere, and tell the man you want to transfer to him. He will refuse.
Money. Very true.
You understand? For instance, you go to a motor garage, you want to go to Ibadan, which is like 7,000, 8,000 naira now. And you tell the driver, I want to transfer to you, he will refuse. He will say, buy for the POS. So, look, Kenya, what Dr. Buki said is very right. Kenya, even Ghana, they have gone so far in this fintech. As a matter of fact, every telecom operator in Ghana is a fintech. They have their all of them have their money services system. As a matter of fact, Airtel is operating heavily in Uganda and Kenya in terms of money transfer. Many people in those countries do no longer carry cash. Ghana is also far into it. What do you call them? I mean, I know that there is Momo in Nigeria, but I don't know how popular Momo is among people.
Yeah, very true.
But I know that in Ghana, Momo is the thing that drives the economy. So it is also part of our culture and our deceptive nature. Go to the market now and tell the market woman that you buy meat from maybe 10,000 that you want to transfer it to him or her. He will say, no, I want cash. Why? You want to sell the cash. So they recycle the cash within the informal sector. And that is why, and that is where regulations is not helping, because everybody finds a way out of it. Politics, yes, because a lot of politicians carry cash. That's okay if that's their question. Because you don't settle in our own kind of politics. There's high level of settlement.
Yes.
You must settle. You must settle the journalist. You must settle the INEC official. You must settle the party boys. You must settle the traditional rulers, the religious rulers. You must settle them. And these things cannot go through the federal system because it can be traced and it can be discovered. If a journalist now wants to be settled, will he want to transfer money to his account? He will say, give me cash. The cash cannot be traced. And that is the evil of our own system. So we are all culpable. While the politicians and the government are the drivers, we, the citizens, are the lubricants that drives it. Because we are up. I mean, get something to eat. Now, what happened in 2023 was a clear case of high politics. We understand what happened then. It was a good policy to me. I like cashless. As a matter of fact, apart from once a month that I need maybe about 100,000 or thereabout for expenses, minor expenses. I don't do all my expenses, all my I do it cashless. You understand? So I like cashless economy, and I've preached it a couple of times. But the average Nigerian, the average government worker, for instance, if you go to ministry, you want to bribe somebody for a file, will he take a transfer? He will not. If you want to bribe, go to Lands Office where corruption is rife in this Lagos. You go to Lands Office, you want to give somebody 2 million to facilitate your papers. Will you collect transfer? He will not. So we ourselves are the architect of our problem. I don't know who is going to build the cat. Sorry to say this. I'm also hopeless here. I don't know who is going to build the cat. But if we continue running our life in this way, it is insanity to be doing something the same way and expect a different outcome.
Thank you so very much.
It doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We must be able to retune our psychology and know what we want as a country.
Very well said.
Thank you. Ambrose, Mr. Ambrose, wrapping up, can we get your parting shot? But now I want you to look at the solution. What are the best way, or what solution will you suggest to actually help crumb this issue and bring it to a halt? And at the same time, do we see agencies springing up so as to hold the banks responsible and make them do the right thing?
All right, the first thing I will say is that there have to be consequences for actions. So for this issue of what has happened, the disruptions that happened in the past 3 weeks with many banks, I think the customers should do what we call class suit. That's what we call a class suit. Class suit is when you take litigation as a group of people. So the customers of these banks can come together and issue and sue these banks to court. Some business people lost a lot of money. Some lost customers. Some lost this thing. So what you can do? Why not just do a class suit? You know, do a class suit against them. That is one of the first ways to actually work on this thing. Otherwise, they will repeat it again. Then, secondly, the CBN should come out from being an old school bank and become a 21st century regulator. They are still behaving as if they are in 1970s. So they should give fintech, they should work together with the fintech to say we can democratize this. You know, when I let's to start about things is for not collecting this thing, sometimes when you want to do transfer, the transfers don't go.
Yeah.
The banks will tell you they didn't see it. The banks will tell you, oh, go to the bank of the POS. No, it has left my bank. It has not arrived at your bank. We are still talking about those mundane nonsense. So they become afraid. They become afraid. And at the end of the day, they say, just give me cash. I don't have the trouble of going to bank and correcting things, network hanging and all those things. They don't have it. So you can't blame them sometimes. But when you have a QR code system or other kind of system that every market woman has, then it becomes easy. The woman finding a car on the street just have a piece of paper laminated and you just go QR code. The young people we prefer that. So I think that is where the next level we should go to really ensure that we really want this cashless economy and not just mouthing it.
Thank you. Thank you so very much. We do appreciate your time. Choma, this brings me to an issue of, the reason Nigerians blame so much of the government is situations where big infrastructures that private institutions can provide for themselves fail, like national grid collapse that just happened last time. Telcos talk about rates, taxes that is being given to them that's more than enough and all. So I want to believe that when we all come together as Nigerians, both those that are leading us and those that are being led, I think we will get to a better solution. Thank you so very much, Lester Wilcott, for your time. Dr. Ambrose Ibukwe, we truly do appreciate you.
Thank you, Dr. Ambrose.
Thank you for having me. May God bless Nigeria and may God to protect our truth. Thank you.
Thank you so very much. We appreciate you.
Thank you for having me on the show this morning.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Thank you so very much. All right, that's just about the time we have for our show today. We'd love to say thank you to you. You've streamed, you've watched, wherever you've done that around the world. We truly do appreciate you. But please do well to visit us. You can always find us at enterprisetvnews.com. You may like, comment, and follow us on all our social media platforms at Enterprise TV7. I am Henry Igwebike.
And I'm Chuma Okohe.
On behalf of the Backroom Boys, thank you once more. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.